Hello guys, in today's video we are going to look into dynamic stability of market. As we all know, market equilibrium happens when your supply curve cuts the demand curve. That means your supply is equal to your demand. If supply is not equal to demand, that means either inflation or deflation or other kind of uncertainty happen in market. And when we study the equilibrium of market, it could be either equilibrium in static sense or in dynamically stable sense. So we will look into what is dynamic stability of market. So before we move ahead, let's look a little bit about the concept of dynamic stability. A market equilibrium is said to dynamically stable only when disequilibrium price and quantity move and over time reach to any equilibrium. Otherwise, it is dynamically unstable. Dynamic stability is concerned with the same problem as static, but in dynamic stability, we introduce concept of time dimension, which is not there in static. So let's just look a little bit about what is the difference between static and dynamic. In static analysis, all economic variables refer to same point of time. As opposite to that, in dynamic analysis, the time element occupies an important role. So in static analysis, it is kind of a still picture, while your dynamic analysis is a movie of the market. So you can say static as a picture taken at a point of time, but dynamic, it is a flow where it is a complete movie over the time. So static study only equilibrium, while dynamic studies both equilibrium and disequilibrium state in the market. So there are different ways to study dynamic stability of market. One of them is the cobweb model. Another we have Walrasian concept. So we will look into both of them and see using these model how do we achieve dynamic stability in market and how disequilibrium also is achieved under different conditions. So cobweb model is a type of discrete time analysis for dynamic stability. Assumption of cobweb model is demand should be linear and supply should also be linear for simplicity. Both demand and supply function depends on time, where time is a discrete matter. Supply quantity at any point of time depends on the supply price of previous period. So producer will supply or producer will produce quantity based on what was the price of that goods in previous time period. So price supply will depend on price of previous period. So supply curve will be ST equal to C plus D PT minus 1, where PT minus 1 is price of previous period, ST is supply of current period. Demand quantity at any time depends on the price at that time because consumer will buy the goods based on what is the price currently. So demand curve will be dt is equal to A plus B PT, where dt is demand at the given time t. Similarly, price is at given at time t, which is your current period. Behavior of the market is such that as soon as supply quantity comes into the market, entire quantity is demanded at that price period by adjusting price so that market is clear in each period. Thus, in any time your supply is equal to your demand. So that is kind of your Walrasian equilibrium, we will see later on. So at equilibrium price, your supply will be equal to demand. So in order to find out equilibrium price, we will say price at PT minus 1 as well as PT is same, which is nothing but your equilibrium price. So at equilibrium, your demand at time t will be equal to supply at time t. So demand will be A plus B PT is equal to C plus D PT minus 1. Now we will consider equilibrium price is something which is same over the different period time, which is PT and as well as PT minus 1. So if you replace equilibrium price in both the equation, it will become, so your P equilibrium will be A minus C divided by D minus B. So we'll just keep it as equation 1. Now this is my equilibrium price which we want to achieve, but what is the condition to achieve this equilibrium price? How do we come to the point where your price is dynamically stable? So this is my equilibrium equation where demand is equal to supply. If I want to find out my dynamic stability condition over the time, this is nothing but is a time difference equation, first degree of time difference equation. So if we want to solve it, we will take B PT and put PT minus 1 here and C minus A. Then we will divide B both side. So if we divide by B both side, then this B will go. Here it will become D by B, PT minus 1 and C minus A by B. Now, if you look into this equation, this is nothing your difference equation. So if you want to solve it, if you don't know how to solve the difference equation, you need please Google it, or I'll be uploading a video for this also, that how do we solve the difference equation. For now, let's see that how do we proceed on this. In order to solve the difference equation, we consider PT minus 1. There is one more aspect of this difference equation. This is non-homogeneous difference equation. So if it is homogeneous difference equation, consider if this is equal to not some constant but 0, then it will have a different solution. So you need to check non-homogeneous solution of difference equation, where your solution for the equation will be equal to particular solution and complementary solution. So PT will be equal to particular solution PP plus complementary solution. Particular solution is nothing but your equilibrium P. So let's first find out your particular solution and then we'll find out the complementary solution. In order to find out the particular solution, what we will do? We'll do PT is equal to PT minus 1 is equal to particular solution. Consider that is P dash. Now, if we do PT is equal to PT minus 1 is particular solution, that is nothing but your solution to equilibrium, which we got to see from here. So this particular solution is nothing but your solution what we receive for PE, price equilibrium. So my particular solution is equal to PE, which is nothing but A minus C is equal to A minus C divided by D minus P. So I got my particular solution, part of particular solution. Now I need to find out the complementary solution. In order to find out the complementary solution, what we do, we make this equation homogeneous. So now this is my equation. This was my equation. I am going to make it homogeneous. It will become PT minus D by B, PT minus 1 is equal to 0. Now, in order to solve this homogeneous equation, what I'll do, I'll assume PT is equal to x to the power t. I'll put PT x to the power 2 into this equation. So it will become x to the power t minus d by b, and PT minus 1 will become x to the power t minus 1 equal to 0. So now if I take x to the power t minus 1 outside, it will become x minus d by b equal to 0. Hence, x is nothing but d by b, which we got it from here. Now Pt is equal to x to the power t. Solution of homogeneous equation will be, my complementary solution will be m p to the power t. So m x to the power t. Now I have derived x to the power x, which is d by b. This is t. So my particular solution is this. So now I got my complementary solution. I got my particular solution. So I know what is my solution to PT. So PT, you remember, solution was P2 was your particular solution plus complementary solution. Particular solution was nothing but PE, which was price at equilibrium, and complementary solution is M T by B to the power T. Now I want to remove M from here. So I want to find out what is the value of M. So let's see, take T equal to 0. So if I put D equal to 0, that means it will become P0, price at time 0, and equal to PE plus M, because D by T to the power 0 will become 1. So now my M will be nothing but P0 minus PE. Replace this equation into this equation 4, a value of M. So your PT will become PE plus P0 minus PE D by B is equal to T. Now this is my equation for PT over the time. Now how do I find out what would be my equilibrium price which I am going to achieve over the time? So we know at equilibrium my price is PE. So if I want to achieve equilibrium price over the time, that means this expression has to be 0. Then only my PT could become PE. So I have to make this equation at 0. If I want to make this equation at 0, that means my D by B to the power T, and when this happens, our assumption is as T infinity, when T approaches infinity, we achieve equilibrium price. So that means market, when the time progresses, market acquires the equilibrium price. So whatever the supply and the demand in the market, they converge and they meet, and market achieve equilibrium price at when time is infinity. So at when the time is infinity, in order to, if I want to get P equilibrium, this has to be 0. That means D to the power infinity has to be, and T is infinity here, this has to approach 0. So now as we know in the mathematical formula, if your D by B, if you take mod of this, if this is greater than 1 or greater than equal to 1, then it will D by B to the power infinity will always approach infinity. If that is the case, you will not be able to achieve equilibrium price. So in order to make D by B to the power infinity 0, D by B has to be less than 1. And D by B has to be less than 1. That means your D mod of D, absolute value of D should be less than absolute value of B. Or we can say 1 by absolute value of D should be greater than 1 by absolute value of B. Now, what is my 1 by D and 1 by B? So as we have already seen in our supply and demand curve, if we go up above when we started, demand curve is A plus B pt. So 1 by B is nothing but your slope of demand curve, and 1 by D is nothing but your slope of supply curve. Hence, your slope of supply curve should always be greater than slope of demand curve in order for market to reach equilibrium state in infinite time. So we have seen slope of demand curve should be less than absolute slope of supply curve. Hence, your demand curve has to be flatter than your supply curve. So what is the condition? Let's see all different conditions to achieve dynamic stability. So case 1, consider your demand curve is downward sloping. If demand curve is downward sloping, that means B should be less than 0, and your supply curve is upward sloping. If supply curve is upward sloping, that means your D is greater than 0. If B is less than 0 and D is greater than 0, that means B by D will always be less than 0. Now, in this case, when your demand curve is downward and supply curve is upward, if your demand curve, slope of demand curve, absolute slope of demand curve is less than absolute slope of supply curve, that will give you dynamically stable equilibrium. If both are equal, it will be dynamically stable unequilibrium and regular cycle around equilibrium. But if it is a demand curve, absolute slope of demand curve is greater than absolute slope of supply curve, that will definitely give you dynamically unstable equilibrium as we derived earlier. Consider the case 2 when your demand and supply curve both are upward sloping, that means B is greater than 0 and D is greater than 0 as well. If it first condition satisfied, that would be your dynamically stable equilibrium, which is monotonic convergence to equilibrium. But if both are equal, that means if both are upward sloping and both are your demand curve plus your supply curve both are upward sloping and both has equal slope, that means either they will be parallel to each other, or if they have same intercept, that means they will be same. If they have same intercept, they will be same, that means they have infinite number of equilibrium existing. But if they are parallel to each other, that means they are never going to converge. In that case, equilibrium will not exist at all. So you will never have market demand cutting supply. So you will never have market equilibrium happening in this case. And if it is in third condition, where slope of demand curve is greater than slope of supply curve, that will always give you dynamically unstable equilibrium, which is monotonic divergence from your equilibrium point. Now third case is where your demand curve is less than 0, which is downward sloping, and supply curve as well as supply curve is upward sloping. Supply curve is downward sloping, this should be downward, not upward. So D is less than 0, B is less than 0. Again, if your first condition satisfied, it is dynamically stable equilibrium, which is monotonic convergence to equilibrium. But if it is equal, again is the same case, both are downward sloping. So they can either, if both have the same slope, that means either they can be parallel or they can be same line. If they're the same line, then there are infinite number of equilibrium on that. But if it is not the same line, parallel line, then it will never converge and market will never have equilibrium. So there is no point of doing analysis in that case. And in the third case, where your demand absolute demand slope is greater than your absolute supply slope, that is your dynamically unstable equilibrium, which is case of monotonic divergence from your equilibrium. Now let's look into Walrasian equilibrium analysis. So if we look into assumption of Walrasian analysis, the first two assumption is similar to what we have in And second assumption is similar to what we saw in Cobweb model. The first two assumption, the one, you have initial equilibrium in market, and then second assumption, your supply and demand curve are linear, just for the simplicity, just to keep the simplicity of analysis. Third assumption is valuation analysis, which is different from a Cobweb model, is your supply curve. In this, in case of valuation, your supply depends on current price. In Cobweb model, we had seen the supply for the time t depends upon the time price of time period t minus 1. But in valuation analysis, your supply depends on the current time pt, which is the current price of current period. Similarly, demand curve is same as Cobweb, but supply curve is different. Now there is a third assumption in case of valuation analysis, where it uh, check for the demand, any positive and negative axis for the commodity. So if in previous time period, if there is a positive axis of commodity, that means more demand than supply, in that case price will rise. In previous period, if there is negative axis of commodity, that means demand is less than supply, that means your price will fall in next period. So this equation capture the axis of supply. So axis of supply means negative or positive axis of supply. So axis of supply means your demand in pt t minus 1 time minus supply in t minus 1 time. So demand is a plus b pt minus 1 minus supply is c plus d pt minus 1. So once you subtract it, you will get axis price because of axis or negative or positive axis between demand and supply, a minus c plus b minus d pt minus 1. Now we will put this equation here. And there is one more factor, which is k here. K is nothing but what is price difference due to axis, and this is nothing but coefficient. So what is the degree of change which impact your which is impacted by your axis of demand or supply, negative or positive axis of demand of supply. So this is the equation which is nothing but our difference equation, and which we know that how do we solve it? We solve it by, and this is difference equation of homogeneous, non-homogeneous difference equation. In order to solve it, we will divide it in particular solution and complementary solution. So before going to that route, we need to first find out the equilibrium price. Now for equilibrium price, we know in order to get that, your dt is equal to st. That means your A plus B PT is equal to C plus D PT. Hence your PT is equal to P equilibrium is equal to A minus B divided by D minus A minus C divided by D minus B. So this is nothing but your equilibrium price. Now we have a difference equation, which is equation 4, and in order to solve this difference equation, first put it into form of difference equation. So I just rearranged, I took the pt minus 1 at left hand side. So pt minus 1, pt minus, I have some constant, then pt minus 1 equal to some constant. So this is nothing but your difference equation with non-homogeneous difference equation. So solution for this difference equation will nothing but your pt is equal to complementary, particular solution plus complementary solution. So in order to find particular solution, what we will do, pt is equal to pt minus 1 is equal to a particular solution p. So now we'll put p minus 1 plus k b minus t, again p is equal to a minus c k. This p will stricken off. Now t this it will remain equal to, so k will go. So now p will be nothing but A minus C, and since it's minus, I'll say D minus B, which is nothing but your equilibrium price, which we derived here. So if you see, we derived some time back, A minus C equal divided by D minus B, which is nothing but my equilibrium price in this case. So my particular solution is nothing but P equilibrium. Now I have found out the particular solution. Now I'll go for complementary solution. In order to find out complementary solution, my Pt will become x to the power t. Now I'll put Pt x to the power t in this equation. So I'll put Pt is equal to x to the power t in this equation. X to the power t minus 1 plus k b minus t x to the power t minus 1 equal to 0. So in complementary solution, you make right hand side as 0. Now if I'll put take out x to the power t minus 1, I'll have x minus 1 plus k b minus t equal to 0. So x will be nothing but 1 plus k b minus t. So my particular solution will be nothing but, sorry, complementary solution will be nothing but m x to the power t, hence m 1 plus k b minus t to the power t. So solution of my equation will become Pt is equal to P particular solution, which is nothing but equilibrium price, and complementary solution, which we derive from here. Now in order to find out M, as we did in Cobb-Webb model, we will put at time t equal to 0. So Pt will become P0 is equal to Pe plus M. Now if t is 0, whole equation will become 1. So simply M. So M again will become here P0 minus Pe. So as we had seen in Cobb-Webb model, in order to achieve dynamic stability, what we need to have when t converges infinity, our price should be equilibrium price. So what our assumption is that market, when a market achieve equilibrium price when it goes towards infinity time. So if t is infinity, P should be equal to Pe. That means this whole expression has to be 0 in order to Pt to become Pe. Now, if this expression has to be 0, as we had seen in Cobb-Webb model, this expression has to be 0. That means your 1 plus k b minus t to the power infinity has to be 0. If this has to be 0, under the expression under this has to be less than 1, because if it is greater than 1, then greater than 1 to the power infinity will become infinity, and then this expression cannot be achieved. Your Pt cannot become equilibrium price, and dynamic stability cannot be achieved. So in order to dynamic stable, your 1 plus k b minus t should be less than 1. Now, if that is less than 1, that means k b minus t has to be less than 0. If you take 1 from 1 here, that means your b has to be less than d. That is the condition for Walrasian dynamic stability. Your b has to be less than d. So now we saw the condition after deriving mathematically that how Walrasian dynamic stability is achieved. So your B, which is slope of, or your inverse of slope of demand curve, has to be less than D. That means 1 by B has to be greater than 1 by D. That means demand curve slope has to be greater than supply curve. Now consider different condition for finding out Walrasian dynamic stability. Consider your demand curve is downward sloping and supply curve is upward sloping. If demand curve is downward sloping, V will be less than 0, and supply curve is upward sloping, D is less than 0. This means your B will automatically become less than D, as B is less than 0 and D is greater than 0. So your B will automatically be less than D. So in this case, your valuation stability, dynamic stability condition will automatically be achieved and system will converge monotonic convergence to equilibrium over time. Now, second condition, consider your demand curve is upward sloping, which is D is greater than 0, and supply curve is downward sloping, which is D is less than 0. In that case, B will always be greater than D. That means system will always be dynamically unstable. Now, if your both demand and supply curve are upward sloping, that means B is greater than 0 and D is also greater than 0. In that case, your if B in order to make B less than D, your supply curve has to be flatter than demand curve. Otherwise, it would be dynamically unstable. That means if this is the case, if both demand and supply curve are upward sloping, your 1 by B has to be greater than 1 by D. That means slope of demand curve has to be greater than slope of supply curve. The fourth condition, when your both demand and supply curves are downward sloping, in that case, if you want to achieve B less than D, this is the case, then so your dynamic stability condition require B should be less than D. That means your 1 by D should be less than less than 1 by B, which is your 1 by D is nothing, your supply curve. 1 by B should be greater than 1 by D. So 1 by B is demand and 1 by D is supply curve. So since both are negative, that means 1 by, when you take the absolute value, so 1 by, if since it is negative and your 1 by B is greater than 1 by D, if you want to take the absolute value, in that case your 1 by B will become less than 1 by D. That means your demand curve slope has to be less than supply curve slope. So if you look into all four conditions, first condition, when demand curve is downward and supply curve is upward, it will always get converge into dynamic stability as per Walrasian dynamic stability analysis. But if demand curve is upward sloping and supply curve is downward sloping, it will never achieve convergence, so it will never be a stable. If your both demand and supply curve are upward sloping, in that case your slope of demand curve has to be greater than slope of supply curve. And if both demand and supply curve are downward sloping, in this case, as opposite to this case, your slope of supply curve has to be greater than slope of demand curve. That was all for the today dynamic stability of market analysis. Thank you for watching.